Welcome to yet another meeting of Turning Point Toastmasters. I am Rupinder Singh and I am proud to play the role of a Sergeant at Arms at this club today. I will start by reciting the club mission statement, which is common across all the clubs of Toastmasters International. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. You are now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. Please be advised that the meeting is being recorded and it may not be possible to pause or stop the recording. The following are the meeting rules. Audience, please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in removal from the meeting room without assigning any warning. Please ensure that your noise-making devices, such as your cell phones and your laptops, are either switched off or on silent mode. The only exception is the little Anant sitting in bigger Anant's lap. Please speak responsibly on religion, politics, and sex in your speeches. As far as possible, please keep your videos on, your audio off, and applause flowing throughout. To the Toastmaster of the meeting and the table topics master, that is me, and the general evaluator, please ensure an audio video check before handing over to the respective role players. Please rename yourself as role player -your name -your club name. You may omit the club name if you are a member of Turning Point Toastmasters. As an example, you can look at my name. It's TTM, which is table topic master -Rupinder. Please acquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer will be using screen sharing to indicate time using one of the three cards. Green means that you have reached the minimum qualifying time. Yellow means that it's a good time to start concluding. And red means that you've got 30 seconds or more, or you will be disqualified. Individual session timings will be explained in due time. Some Zoom behaviors, we encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons. For example, as you can see, I'm shamelessly clapping for myself. To encourage our speakers, in this case, to encourage me, you could use some Zoom emoticons. We sincerely request you not to send chat messages to everyone or the speaker on stage. In fact, I would ask you to refrain from chatting altogether, focus on the speaker. Reiterating, please stay on mute until specifically requested to unmute. Polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed after 30 seconds. To summarize these rules, be the kind of audience you want for yourself. I will now take this opportunity to introduce our presiding officer. Our presiding officer is actually helping me out. In the past couple of meetings, we've had low attendance. So today he went ahead and emailed about 500 people to join the meeting. May I have a round of applause for our presiding officer? And next, he's going to help me out with some other things that will help us in ensuring attendance at meetings. And that is what a leader should be. Where help is needed, he steps up, owns responsibility, and makes sure that things get done. And that is evidenced by the number of guests that we have. So he's going to be a busy person recognizing all those guests. And I hand it over as a spotlight, our presiding officer, Toastmaster Anshuman Mishra.
Thanks a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. Your statement just reminds me of the fact that it's more than, I think, 2 years or 2.5 years. I, along with all of us, have been assembling every Thursday at 7 p.m. to drive this 2 hours of fantastic meeting for all of us to learn the art of public speaking and to enhance leadership skills for each one of us. And all these gestures, be it requesting all of us to join or just pursuing everyone to understand how valuable these 2 hours are, comes naturally to all of us because we all are so much integrated into this community where selfless giving comes very naturally once you derive so much benefit, which is almost 10 times. I cannot actually put a number to it, the X number of times than you give to the community. So definitely, I think any effort, any activity comes naturally. And right now is a season of transition in terms of weather, transition in terms of the upcoming quite a few religious holidays for a lot of us. For example, just Raksha Bandhan passed, and now we have Janmashtami, then we'll have Dashera, then we'll have Diwali, at least from the Hindu sides, and quite sure for the other religious festivals, not to talk about Christmas and Eid. And for me, winter season is definitely a season I love and enjoy a lot. And I'm quite sure all of us will continue to enjoy this Turning Point Toastmasters meeting on a crispy Thursday evening, as always. And I see quite a few guests joining today. So sending out those reminders may have helped entice some of us to join. So I see Shreyas, I see Shakuntala, I see Ravi, I see Deanna. Thanks, Deanna, as always, for joining regularly. I see Indirapuram Club. Indirapuram Club, can you please rename yourself so that we can recognize you at the end?
That's Gita Kashyap.
Okay. Thanks, Gita, for joining. And we have our special star speaker for the evening, Dinesh, who is also a guest. We also have Divya, and we have a special guest in Arvind, who has already been introduced by Rupinder. We have Amit. Oh my God, so many guests joining today. I hope you all have an amazing time today evening. And I'd love to take your feedback after the 2-hour extravaganza we have today evening. Now, do you remember the first time you hosted anything in life? Be it a debate competition, be it a quiz competition, or being the little host in your class, or being the Toastmaster of the day. First time is always special. The first time I did something of like a hosting activity, I trembled a lot. But we have a courageous member amongst us who's been very ambitious throughout, and she'll be venturing into taking up this role of Toastmaster Day for the first time today evening. And I'd like to ask you to help welcome Chinmay, the Toastmaster Day today evening, with thunderous round of applause. And I'll request Chinmay to take over the proceedings for the evening. Over to you, Chinmay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. Fear, arguably the most common of human emotions. And it is not completely a bad emotion. It is what keeps us from doing things like jumping into a lion's cage. It keeps us alive and safe. But sometimes it ends up doing the opposite. It keeps us from really living our life. We get so used to being in the protection of your little bubble, to being inside our head, that we start fearing stuff that we are supposed to enjoy. One of the simplest examples would be irrational fears. It may be learning to swim or learning to drive cars. Some people I know even fear stuff as simple as walking on an escalator. All of these are irrational fears because in real life they are absolutely harmless, but the fear is entirely inside your head. What happens is you then look at other people doing the thing you fear and you feel like maybe you're missing out on all of the enjoyment. So here in today's meet, my goal is to convince you to find out your deepest fears and try to overcome them. Because I believe that overcoming your fears is one of the best way to grow as a person in your life. But let's move on and look up to what all do we have upcoming in today's meeting. A typical Toastmaster meeting comprises of 3 sections. We have the prepared speeches where speakers prepare their speeches in advance and deliver them. Then we have the table topics where guests and Toastmasters who have not gotten a chance to speak are invited on stage to speak on a topic given instantly. Last but not the least, we have the evaluation section where everyone gets a chance to improve. Helping me evaluate today's meeting is Toastmaster Anshuman, playing the general evaluator role today. Now, I would like to ask Toastmaster Anshuman, while facing a fear, would you prefer to overthink it beforehand, or would you rather face it head on and just trust yourself in the moment without overthinking it? Over to you, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks, Toastmaster Chinmay. I like fears to be predictable. I'm not sure if that's possible. So definitely I love to overthink fears beforehand, have a plan sorted out for it, and deliver on countering fear beforehand. And I presume I have to introduce my general evaluator duties for the evening also. So here at Toastmasters, we believe at lifting each other through constructive feedback, and that is done through the evaluation section. The evaluation section provides a role mirror to the role players on how they perform for the evening and how they can do a better job in the future meetings. So the evaluation portion is divided into 3 parts. In the first part, at the end of the meeting, I'll be introducing the speech evaluators to present the evaluation for the speakers. The second part, I'll be sharing a brief evaluation of all the table topic speakers who played a role today. And last but not the least, I'll be introducing the tag team along with the overall evaluation of the meeting. So before we move on to the next section, I'd like to introduce a tag team to all of us who will be playing an important role and part of the evaluation team together to take forward the evening. The first part of the tag team is the timer for our meeting. So timer for our meeting is Toastmaster Arunima. Toastmaster Arunima will help us time each of the speeches, impromptu speeches, and the evaluation section as per the defined timings for each. So the speech timings can be 5 to 7 minutes. The impromptu speech will be 1 to 2 minutes. And the evaluation section, the evaluators will have to speak for 2 to 3 minutes. And Arunima will be presenting the report to all of us at the end of the meeting. Next, we have the AHA counter. So AHA counter today is going to be Distinguished Toastmaster Anant. So as an AHA counter, so Distinguished Toastmaster Anant will be presenting all the filler words and sounds that we use in our respective roles. It can be you know, and going through that report will help us identify those, being aware of those filler words and solve for that for the long term. And last but not the least, we have the grammarian for the evening. As a grammarian, we'll have the grammarian for today evening is going to be Nikita. And Nikita will be letting us know all the good usages and not so good usages of speeches, of words and phrases done for the evening. So on behalf of Nikita, I'd like to present to us the word of the day for the evening. So the word of the day today is debunk. Debunk means expose the falseness or hollowness of an idea or belief, or to reduce the inflated reputation of someone. So the usages include: comedy takes delight in debunking heroes. She debunked all myths about COVID-19. You can generously use the word debunk in any of the roles you play today. And whenever anybody uses the word debunk, request us to do a virtual thumbs up or a live thumbs up on your videos. I'll be presenting the overall report at the end of the meeting. Now I'd like to hand over the stage back to the Toastmaster today. Over to you, Toastmaster Chinmay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. Let us now begin with the first section, which is the prepared speeches. The prepared speech section helps the Toastmaster member prepare the speech in advance, practice it, and present to the other Toastmaster members. The section challenges the speaker to prepare great content, practice his delivery, and be the best version of their public speaking selves. So our first speaker today is Toastmaster Dinesh. But before I call him on stage, I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmaster Surjit, to read out his speech purpose.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Dinesh is going to deliver a speech for elective project from level 5 from Leadership Development Path. Project name is Prepare to Speak Professionally. The purpose of this project is to practice delivering and presenting a large speech. Time for speech is 18 to 22 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surjit. Now I would like to ask Toastmaster Dinesh, what is the one fear that you are most proud of overcoming?
Well, the biggest fear that I have is to live longer. My father, who expired at the age of 72, when I was around 50, I was thinking that 70 is it's okay. But here, people marry at the age of 70. At the age of 80, they go for mountaineering, badminton, sea surfing. So long life is a part, whether you like or not. So to live long life, that to be healthy, I have developed 3-stage formula. One is, that is 3D. One is deh, dil, dimag. I should keep my body fit. I should see that my heart gives all the love, affection and care to all. And most important, dimag. I should keep my brain intake, because here the people at the age of 50, they start getting the disease, Alzheimer. They start forgetting. And to overcome that, one should have certain exercises. At the same time, reading. So whether I like or not, I keep on reading. I keep on doing the exercises. I am unable to see the timer. Exercises.
She has to announce your name actually.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Fine. And this is how I am overcoming my fear. Finally, for me, fear is a muscle which you can overcome by doing practice. So practice is the key word to get rid of fear. Thank you.
Thank you for the really great insights to form habits, and that's a really great achievement to overcome that fear. So now let's welcome Toastmaster Dinesh on stage for his speech. Toastmaster Dinesh, Science of Breathing That Works. Science of Breathing That Works, Toastmaster Dinesh.
Thank you. Can you see my screen? I have done the sharing of the screen. Good. This is a keynote speech where I will be giving you the bird's eye view and then detail of one particular item so that you can develop interest for the whole conference or for the seminar. With this background, I proceed to my speech, Science of Breathing That Works. Assume that you are in a situation where you are given two choices. Which one you would like to choose? The first choice is mentally you are upset, you are furious, angry. From heart, you are literally heartless. You don't know the word love. And from body, you are having hundreds of diseases and pain. Will you like to choose that type of situation? Or the second one, where you are mentally fit, from heart you are emitting love, and from body you are highly energetic. May I ask you that which one you would like to choose? Naturally, the second one. But you will surprised to know that I chose the first one. And this is my real story. I chose the first one. Because of that, at office, I used to remain angry. I used to fight with the staff and other members. I used to bring that poison and junk to my home. At home, literally, I used to fight with my wife, my children, my parents. They were sick of me. They were afraid of me. And I was thinking that I am doing perfectly well. I didn't realize that it was my mistake. This continued for years. My life was really pathetic, full of pain and diseases. I had asthma, I had ulcer, I had blood pressure. Luckily, in the meantime, I met a man whose name is Rishi Prabhakar. He was an engineer, he was MBA, he was master software expert, and he spent 12 years of his life with Maharshi Mahesh Yoga. I stayed for 1 month at Suttur Ashram, which is near Bangalore. I learned these techniques, applied in my life. I could change myself from negativity to positivity. And then I remained a teacher with him for 30 continuous years. I have taught this to more than 5,000 people. My teaching has been spread and I have taken workshop in India, Muscat, Australia, and many other places. With this background, may I ask you that now are you interested to know what I did? Yes or yes? Thank you. By chance, if you are saying that it's okay, then please have a look at my second slide. Amy is the lady whose TED Talk was heard for more than 62 million times. And the topic, how to change from within and outside. So by chance, if you think it's okay, I don't have interest, then perhaps you are missing something. So whether you like or not, whether you believe or not, just listen to me and just try it out. In case if you get success, you may continue. And I bet, I challenge that it will work for you. With this much, let me come to my main speech, which will be having 2 items, mainly the science of breathing and one experiment with you. Coming to the part 1, which deals with the science of breathing. Have you ever realized that what holds the earth? It is the same air which me and you breathe in. Not only it holds, it revolves, it rotates around the sun. And not only the earth, moon, sun, and the stars, more or less, they are governed, controlled by the same air, more or less, which we breathe in. And if it is the fact, then don't you think that we should have the strength to hold this earth? Do we have? Perhaps no. But we can have it. Remember, this is the same power, especially when you breathe out. This is what a karate master does. With his one chop, he can break 5 pieces of ice. This is one of the examples of power of breathing. Will you like to see one more example? Here it is. When you breathe in, you can lift the weight which is more than 4 times your body weight. All of you know Mirabai, whose weight is 49 kilo. And along with the bar, and she could lift 210 kilo of weight. But do you know what is the loophole where we are missing? More than 80% of people on this earth, they do not breathe properly. Because of that, they suffer number of diseases. These are few of them. Oxygen starvation, reduced vitality, premature aging, poor immune system, chronic disease like asthma, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is again related with heart, are few of the symptoms or the diseases that you have. This is nothing when you compare with your brain. You must be knowing that it's our brain that has got neurons. I'm sure you know we have 86 billion neurons, almost 11 times the world population. So don't you think that it must be needing lots and lots of oxygen? Yes, it do. The size of the brain is hardly 2% of our body, whereas it needs 20% of oxygen. And are we giving sufficient oxygen? Perhaps no. And this is the science which was revealed long, long back. This is not a latest science. You will surprised to know that India is pioneer in this. This is the statue of Maharshi Susrut. Here in Melbourne, where I live, I have seen it. In the Royal Melbourne Children's Hospital, as soon as you go inside, this is the statue where it is written that when the rest of the world was struggling to find food, Susruta had found many types of treatment and surgery. He is the man who came out with the nadi, with the channels that passes energy in our body. He is the man who defined that you have the channels which has got relation with sun and moon, with warm and cool, with power and calmness. The same channels, they passes through our chakras, kundalinis, and they make your body more powerful in all terms. So with these two facts, I'm sure these are enough to give you the scientific background of breathing. Coming to the second part, where I'm going to have a small experiment. And if you wish, just measure yourself and do it for 30 days and see. You take your selfie, take your close-up photo, take your blood pressure. I got a blood pressure monitor with me. Take your sugar level. I have got a glucometer with me. You measure your waist. I have got a measuring tape with me. You take your weight. I have got a balance with me. Nearby pathology lab, get your red cell counted. I have brought a comb. Every day you must be combing. Just find out how much hairs are falling. Check your digestive system. That what time you take in toilet. Just you feel your skin and see how much rough it is. and then apply the trick which I am going to show you just for 30 days and see the difference. So with this, if you are ready, please raise your hand. Sure? Good. Here it is. First step, breathe in and breathe out. Now see, when you breathe in and breathe out, your shoulders, they go up and down. This is how we breathe, and we utilize most of our top part of our body. That's all. Step number 2, just you breathe in and breathe out from your nose. Please breathe in from your nose and breathe out as if you are doing every time. And then blow with your mouth. What does it mean? It means that even after breathing in and breathing out, lots and lots of carbon dioxide remains in your body, which we could not brought out. Next step. Wherever you are sitting, just stretch your hands and try to touch your toes. Please do it. Please do it. Just try to touch your toes and see how much you can go. Stretch your legs and try to touch and find out, record the mental distance, how much you can go. In the same way, wherever you are sitting, try to touch your knees and see how much you can go. And you will surprised to know that after doing this exercise, a great change you will be finding out. Here is the next step. Again, breathe in from your nose, and this time breathe out from your mouth. Breathe in less, breathe out more. A person does it for 12 to 15 times in a minute. So just close your eyes along with me. Breathe in little. Breathe out more from your mouth. Please continue. Keep your eyes closed. Relax your body. And please do whatever I am saying. Trust me. Believe me. Follow me. And breathe in from your nose. Breathe out from your mouth. Breathe out more. Breathe in less. Breathe out more. Keep your eyes closed. Continue it for half minutes more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Please again breathe in. Breathe out more. Count yourself and do it at least for 5 more times. And now you go and do the same exercise. You will surprised to know that you will able to go still further. You will able to touch little more. You will able to bend your head towards your knees little more. Yes or yes? Has anyone done this? Counter. Anant Katyayni? No? You didn't believe me? Anyway, so this is what you can do. And if you do it for 30 days, I challenge, it will give you more attractive and impressive facial look. You can reduce your weight. This is the Hayasaki, the Japanese treatment, which literally tells that by this way you can do it. You can change your body posture and look much better. You can premature aging can be stopped and you look much younger. And this is my favorite slide. There is a beeper available known as the electromagnetic beeper, which can sense your vibration, which is about 1 feet or so. But if you do this exercise, it can enhance to 10 feet. Generally, you have got in apartment, 1 room, 10 feet. So you can enhance your aura. And this is the best slide I have. If a lady who is pregnant and does this exercise, the baby which comes on this land is more lovable, confident, and literally much emotionally stable. So, in short, I gave you basic science of breathing. I explained the damage due to wrong breathing. I gave the advantage of the correct breathing. We had one experiment and demonstration and special benefit during the pregnancy. With this much, I'm sure I have created an interest about breathing in you so that you can dig more into this subject. Once again, I repeat, remember, learn how to exhale. The inhale will take care of itself. And this is the code given by Carla, who is more than 40 years practicing this and has been benefited. And remember, if you do this, you can have this power. If you practice it, you can have this power. You are the one. If you just do it and practice and continue it, you can move the earth. Power lies within you. It can be. You can do this. Thank you for listening me. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Dinesh, for that very insightful and thought-provoking speech. I now request you all to take 1 minute to write feedback for the speaker. Now we move on to our second speaker, Shaurya. But before I call him on the stage, I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmaster Rajesh, to read out his speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Speaker Shaurya is going to deliver his speech on the presentation mastery level 3 project 2. The purpose of this speech is for you, the member, to share his experience completing the project. Timer, please note the speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes, and please display the green, yellow, and red card according to the times. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Chinmay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. Now I would like to ask Toastmaster Shaurya, what is the most irrational fear you have and why?
I think it has to be sleeping in complete darkness. So a couple of years ago, I was sleeping heartily at night when I was woken up by a small slimy thing sitting right on top of my face. I jerked it away, but still could not find whatever it was, even after turning the lights on. Now, my best guess is it was a lizard, but I really don't want to find out. So I keep the lights on at night. That's probably my most irrational fear.
That is very interesting. So let's welcome Shaurya on the stage for his speech. Shaurya, Shaurya, man up, Shaurya. Over to you.
Snowflake. Snowflake is a 2010s derogatory slang term for a person implying that he or she has an inflated sense of uniqueness, is easily offended, and unable to deal with opposing opinions. We are the snowflake generation then. We are politically correct, we are woke, we are sensitive to everyone's feelings, and we just love to cry when the world is not a fair place. We are an over-entitled, overly emotional, foul-crying bunch of sissies. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Good, man up. Your feelings don't matter. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. No, I have not been possessed by a bitter 80-year-old man's spirit. The expressions that you now have on your faces are exactly what I had on mine 2 nights ago. This whole rant was actually a journal entry, the first ever journal entry of a 14-year-old me who was convinced that high school is just a fancy name for hell. Upon first reading, I found a boy who was stuck in a loop of emotions. But as I turned the pages slowly, I realized that there is a well-defined thought processing unit, a TPU, hidden in these very pages. A TPU that passes the thought through tubes and beakers and produces the thought in its purest form. Now, if you're not a fan of fantasy talk like me, you still need convincing. So let me explain this 3-stage TPU to you. Stage 1, extract the idea from its emotional packaging and filter through a mesh of objectivity. What do you get when you give a Facebook account to a 13-year-old chubby boy? Embarrassment. However, when that 13-year-old boy posts a picture of himself kicking a football like Cristiano Ronaldo, that is the last word you want to comment on that picture. Well, my best friend made that mistake. I immediately replied with, like your mom, and hit unfriend on his profile. The next day, when my class crush started talking about my picture, I expected her to find it extremely cool. Instead, she told me about the hole visible in my pants in that picture. And that is when I realized that my best friend was not a mole, and I needed to check for a hole in my pants before the hole in my ego. Process 2. Add purpose to this idea and soak it in a beaker of reason overnight. Now, there is a whole range of moments that can become a landmark in a boy's life. The first time he gets a patchy mustache, the first time his crush stomps on his heart in front of everyone. But mine came the first time I ate a guy's lunch and he punched me right in the chest. That evening, as the air started returning to my lungs slowly, I packed my favorite leather belt in my bag for next day's revenge. The good news is, by the mornings, my lungs were back to full capacity and saner heads prevailed. I took the belt out of my bag. During lunch hour though, I simply put 2 laxatives in his food and watched his dignity flow away. That is when I realized that it's best to let your revenge ideas cool overnight and serve them cold the next morning. Level 3, add a pinch of hurt ego and boil the idea in heat of will till you get it in pure form. Ego is the enemy. These words were written on a banner and hung above the blackboard when I was in class 8. On the last day of school, as I sat on the first bench looking at the report card that told me I had missed distinction by 3 marks, I wondered if these 4 words meant anything, or if the voice inside my head, my hurt ego, was telling me better. I chose the latter. For the next 2 years, I hustled with a chip on my shoulder, but it was worth it. On the day that I received my distinction certificate in 10th standard, I realized that the quote was not wrong. It was just worded incorrectly. It should have been, ego is the enemy if you are not your own friend. And that is when I realized that my ego can often push me into fires, but those fires burn away what is inconsequential. What is left then after this whole process is a pure thought. So, with this 3-part process, you can now see that I have the ultimate formula. This comprehensive mechanism means I have a satisfied mind and a peaceful existence, right? Unfortunately, wrong. This mechanism works relatively well for me most of the time, except when someone says Messi is better than Ronaldo, then it's all out war. But oftentimes, when the mind is saturated with emotions, it does not have the capacity to go through this long, arduous process. All I can do that day is roll back through the pages of my journal and get some perspective. Perspective that processing your emotions does not make you a snowflake. Perspective that it never gets easier. You just get better at it. And perspective that getting emotional is not a big deal. But what you do with those emotions sure is. To date, the latest entry in my journal, the latest product from my TPU says, stop trying to man up. First, just calm down. The best is yet to come. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
That was a really wonderful speech. Please take 1 minute to write feedback for the speaker. I would now ask the poll master to have polls for the best speaker. So now I would like to share a personal experience. I hated swimming. Whenever somebody asks me, what is that one thing that you are most afraid of in your entire life? It used to be swimming. I hated it with all my heart. But when recently I just decided to be brave and sign up for swimming, it turned out to be extremely rewarding to me. Just imagine the confidence boost that I would have gotten if I'm suddenly able to achieve something that I thought I can never achieve in my entire life. This made me understand that one of the benefits of overcoming your fears is that it acts as a huge confidence booster. Another benefit of trying something new that you have never tried before and you're afraid of is that it is extremely fun and involving. Your brain needs to form completely new connections. It needs to do guesswork and not follow a certain route because this is something which you have never tried before. You get the power to control everything, and hence it is the most fun. I also believe that the first step in overcoming your fear is willingness. Will is really a very powerful factor which controls a human being. So, the first step should be to become 100% willing and determined to try out the fear you have. And once you are willing to do so, the journey after this step is much easier than you think. So now let's move on to the next section of the meeting, which is the table topic section. It involves impromptu speeches which will train you to be present in the moment and also build your confidence. The table topics section is headed by the table topics master of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. He is someone who is an instructional designer, a trainer, a training consultant, a documentation expert, a leading developer, and last but not the least, a distinguished Toastmaster. He has been instrumental in helping lay the foundation of the excellent club that Turning Point Toastmasters is today, building it from scratch. And hence, it is my pleasure to invite him here today. Over to you, Toastmaster Rupinder.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. Can we have a round of applause for her before we begin? Thank you very much. Now, before I begin with the table topic section, I have a surprise for you. We have a module from our immediate past president and our current vice president of education, Unique Katnoria. I will spotlight Unique, if you could advise me on how much time the timer should time you for while I spotlight you.
Yeah, you could time before 2 to 4 minutes.
Okay, timer, please note, green card at 2, 3, and 4 minutes. Unique, you are spotlighted and good to go.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupinder, and welcome all the guests and members. So this module is basically about the MOT session we are conducting. So this year, MOT is a moment of truth. So in Toastmaster, every club has to conduct it once every 6 months. So in this, the members of the club give their feedback about the club, how club is doing, and the executive committee and the club as a whole can work towards improving on those factors. So MOT generally contains of 6 sections, and this year we are having it offline. So generally it is conducted during a meeting, but I'm just going to explain you the MOTs just now, and I'll be launching a Google form and sharing the link with all the members, and you can just vote you can vote for the questions. So there is a question, and you can rate the club from 1 to 5 on that parameter, and we can then we will have your input, and I'll just be sharing a sample form which I'll be sharing later in the meeting. Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah, so this is a sample MOT form. So you will be having to enter your email ID. So only the email ID that you have registered with Toastmaster International will work here. So you need to enter that email ID, and all the responses from your email ID registered with Toastmaster will be marked as valid. So there are few sections in this six sections in the MOTs. So each type of parameter is categorized into a section. So the first section here is first impression. So basically how of guest or new member finds the club. There are basic questions which you have to answer. And one question here, so there are a few, this format is for both offline and online meetings. So there are a few questions which become irrelevant. I just want to explain them. Others are self-explanatory, and you can mark the club with a score of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest or the best score that you can give, and 1 being the lowest. So just this one point. The second question is guest books and name tags provided. So this is a concept of offline meeting. Since we are meeting on Zoom, so this doesn't apply. So you can mark it 5 anyways. And apart from that, there is one with membership orientation. There is formal induction and presentation of membership pins and manuals. So this is also related to offline and is not applicable right now. So you can just mark this also as 5. The rest all are there are different sections like how good the meetings are, how much variety is there in the meeting, and how exciting the meetings are, and what are the parameters. Just one question in the 6th section I would like to put your attention is DCP goal used for planning and recognition. So DCP goals are basically some parameters defined by the Toastmaster International. The this It's kind of checklist that a club should meet in order to be eligible for awards, as well as it's kind of a roadmap for club growth. So this is what DCP is. Rest is all self-explanatory, and I'll share the link for this form very soon, and you will get 3 to 4 days to mark your responses. And after that, the EC will evaluate the MOTs and will see where the club can improve. So that's all, and you can always, if you have any questions, you can correct me offline or in the club group. So yeah, over to you, table topic master.
Thank you very much, Unique. And I will urge all club members to please participate in the moments of truth. Trust me, a lot of changes in this club have come about because of the feedback that was provided by you. Now, I will start with table topics, and Deanna had very kindly nominated herself right at the beginning of the meeting that she wanted to go for a table topic. So Deanna, the table topic that is coming up for you, I'm copy pasting it on the chat box. Deanna McInroy, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, and also to sit down and listen. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, and also to sit down and listen. Deanna McInroy. Timer, please let me know at the yellow card. Then I will move on to the next speaker. I have noted the names of the next 2 speakers. So Munish Gupta and Shreyash Rout, please be ready. Guests, if you are willing to participate, do let me know. Amit, I have taken your name as well. Thank you, Divya, for volunteering. Thank you, Gita. I was wondering where you are. And now I'm getting a list of volunteers. Why? Every table topic session should be like this. Okay. Timer, do show the yellow card whenever possible. Thank you, timer. We will now move on to our next speaker, and our next speaker is Munish Gupta. Munish, the topic for you coming up on the chat window. Munish Gupta, holding a grudge only makes you bitter, not stronger. Holding a grudge only makes you bitter, not stronger. Munish Gupta.
Good evening, everybody. Holding a grudge only makes you bitter, not stronger. To be honest with you, I have a chronic disease. If anybody who has harassed me, tortured me, or gave me a cold shoulder, I hold a grudge against that person. And I know that it makes me bitter, not strong. I'm not able to get rid of this thing. And somebody who's the last person who troubled me, I forget about the earlier one in my life, or any person to who has cheated me. If I see that person photograph in a newspaper or while driving, if I see him, that person on the road, I forget about present, that I have to do something or I have to grow in my life. I keep on thinking about that person, how to settle the score with that person. I start making a picture in my mind that if I get an opportunity, I will annihilate this man. But practically, it's not possible. I'm killing myself. I can't become strong. I am becoming weak. I'm wasting my time, and it drains my energy when I keep on overthinking about one person and hold a grudge against that person. I know I've been working on this. I know it's very difficult to get rid of this thing. Once any habit which you have in your life, it's not a piece of cake to get rid of that. It's a Herculean task. And for this, earlier I planned with whomever I hold a grudge, I'll write the name of the person and I'll ask in the evening, why am I holding a grudge? And then only I can get rid of this thing. So I myself can feel that if I want to grow in my life, I should not hold a grudge which makes me bitter, because I want to become a strong person. Over to the Toastmaster, please.
Thank you very much, Munish. Truer words were never spoken. I will now turn my attention to Shreyash. Shreyash, I would request that Shreyash be spotlighted. Please, okay, let me spotlight Shreyash. Yes.
I think Shreyas' video is right.
Shreyash, are you ready?
Yeah, can you, I'm sorry. Let me just turn on my video as my antivirus settings. Just a second.
Yeah, you're not. I'm trying to spotlight you, but that's not happening.
Yeah. Just a sec. Am I visible now?
You are visible and you are audible. Okay, Shreyas, the topic for you coming up on your screen. Shreyas, this is a topic that people do not understand from my side, because I'm not able to pronounce it properly. So I'm going to copy paste it first so that you are able to understand. Shreyash Rout, the robbed that smiles steals something from the thief. The rob that smiles steals something from the thief. Shreyash Rout.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, this is a bit difficult. How do I put it? Basically, when we go about in our lives, okay, so there are moments when we feel angry. As a kid, let me just tell you one of my anecdotes, because I've spoken here like thrice till now, and every time it would be a recommendation that speak for for more time. So I'll just give an anecdote from my life. As a kid, I used to get bullied like a lot. I used to get bullied a lot. So I remember we were playing football and I was good at football. Okay. It wasn't like I wasn't good at football. I was good at football. So these guys, what they did, they started bullying me while on field. They started shouting some sort of a slogan or something. And they just started, they just started bullying me on the field, right there and right there. What they tried to do, I was a fourth grader. What they tried to do was take my sanity. In a way, they tried to take my sanity, the sanctity of my healthy brain. But what I did, I smiled at them. In a way, in a silent protest, So I think this puts, this very topic puts this scenario into context, that the rob that smiles steals something from the thief. They couldn't take my sanctity away from me. They couldn't take my sanity away from me. And by this, on that day, I debunked that the bullied need not be bullied every time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shreyas. And you grasped the topic very well. I'm happy to tell you that. Next, I would like Amit to be spotlighted. And Amit, let me first find you. Okay, there you are. Great. Amit, topic for you. Amit, speak in anger and you will give a speech that you will forever regret. Speak in anger and you will give a speech that you will forever regret. Amit.
My dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, we all have one thing in common. We always strive to make our lives more fulfilling, enriching, and promising. But how it is possible? Is there any secret for that? Yes, there is one secret, and that is to remain calm, cool, and composed. And if you can do that, then you can be on the trajectory of happiness, indomitable enthusiasm, and inner fulfillment. If we are in Toastmasters and if we have to deliver our speech, and during that moment, you are scratching some past, you are brooding over future, you are infuriated, you are having some fragile mood, then focus will be on your mood about past and the future. Past is just like water under the bridge. Once gone, it cannot be reversed. But if we have to deliver our speech and then we are thinking about that particular incident or event, then 90% of all our focus will be on that particular event and 10% will be on your speech, and we will be lost. Same thing happened just, I will say, 2 weeks back when I was delivering one speech in my Ahmedabad Toastmasters Club. And while delivering that speech, I was constantly scratching what happened in that early morning when when I indulged in a verbal spat with my wife. During that speech, I was thinking in the back of my mind, I was thinking about that, and I was fumbling a lot. I was stuttering, and during that speech, I just stopped and said, "I'm sorry, I'm not fully aware of this speech." My dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, I appeal you all that if you are delivering a speech, be mindful and give your best. I'm doing this. What about you, table topic master? Over to you.
I totally agree with you, Amit. And now I will want to call upon the stage Divya Thakur. Divya, can we have Divya spotlighted, please? Divya, ready? Yes. Okay. Here we go. Oops. I was going to paste it to someone. Okay. Here comes the topic for you, Divya. Divya, fear is what you feel. Courage is what you do. Fear is what you feel. Courage is what you do, Divya.
Good evening, everyone. So life throws situations which we are not sometimes ready for. And the future is all uncertain. There are fears of examination, of results, of getting a job, and there are many other fears. So in that situation, we can't do anything. That is not in our hand. What is in our hand is now what we can do. So there is a situation, there is a fear, there is uncertainty. But if we fear and just be seated in our home in a corner that there is a fear, I don't want to go, I don't want to wake up in the morning because of the fear, so nothing is going to work. So we need to have courage, and this is something which I practice. I am very fearful of many things, and currently I am dealing with those fears because there is uncertainty in the future. And having the whole years of COVID-19, we all know how uncertain the future is. We don't know if we were going to have 2021 or we will have 2022. It's so uncertain. We see what is going around in the world. We see how people are suffering from many things, from health, mentally. So there is only one thing which we can do, which we have, is the willpower and the courage to move forward, no matter what the result is going to be, no matter where we are going to be. Are we going to be successful? Because that is the thing. Why we fear? Because we want to succeed. We want success. Otherwise, if there is no need or if we don't desire for something, we don't have fear. Fear for something we don't want to achieve. So the best solution here would be to just be willing to walk forward and believe that God is there with you, or there is a power which is helping all of us, and just moving forward and never stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya, for that topic. And now I will call upon Gita Kashyap. Gita, may I request that Gita be spotlighted, please?
Yeah, hello.
Gita, ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, here's the topic for you. Gita, rage is a choice, not a reaction. Rage is a choice, not a reaction. Gita.
Thank you so much. Rage is a choice, not a reaction. It's so very true. A number of times we get angry for no reason at all. We throw tantrums. For little things, we get ignited and we want to break off relations with everybody. It's very, very important to keep yourself calm and composed, because if you want, you can control your anger. I do not know why so many people keep telling again and again, I'm very hot-tempered. I'm very hot-tempered. I'm unable to control myself. That is a myth. Why are you not able to control yourself? Everybody has the power. Just today we had this session of yoga, breathing, meditation. If you feel that you lose your temper very often, it is important that do some breathing exercises. Keep yourself mentally fit, because decisions that are taken when you're angry can be completely wrong, can destroy your life and can destroy the life of others. So it is important, it's very, very important that keep yourself calm. And whatever you do, in whatever do, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a housewife, whatever, or even, it's important that you balance out things. A number of times what happens is, recently I've seen so many youngsters breaking off their relationship, it has become so common that young children, they are married and they get divorced within few years, and in fact even within few months. So what is the reason? The reason is that both of them are not able to control themselves. So understanding, and what, there's nothing impossible in this world. There's nothing impossible in this world. If you really desire, if you really want, you can make things better. Why is it that our ancestors, my father was very hot tempered, but my mother had the patience, and their bonding was there, and they continued their life for so many years together. So it is important that we keep telling ourselves that I can do it, and you will do it. Thank you. Back to you, tabletop.
Thank you very much, Gita. When you said nothing is impossible, you've clearly never argued with my wife, because I tried telling her last night that, look, rage is a choice, not a reaction, and her reaction grew even worse. So I would be wary of that. I would now like to call on stage someone who did not volunteer, but someone that I would love to hear, Arvind Nair. May I request that Arvind Nair be spotlighted, please? Arvind, ready?
Go ahead.
Arvind, here is the topic for you. Arvind Nair, everyone wants to be a champion. You train like one. Everyone wants to be a champion. You train like one. Coming up on the chat box for you.
Thank you, Rupinder, for this topic. Well, it's not a myth that needs to be debunked. It's true. It's very true. If you need to be a champion, then you need to put in a lot of effort. It starts right from the time that the little seed that is sown into your head, that you want to achieve something. And then begins all the journey, the practice that goes into it. For me, if I were to become what I am today, it all started 13 years ago when I joined Toastmasters, with the simple reason that I said, I do know how to speak, I do know how to stand in front of a crowd and give a speech, but I need to get better. And that's why I joined Toastmasters. But the other thing that came out of it was that unknowingly or unknowingly, the roles that I took up always helped me to perfect myself, and unknowingly, it helped me in my leadership skills as well. I never knew I had these skills, but then having taken up these roles and people telling me what I could do better is what I did. And then I think today, if you had to say that I have been seen and heard in places, it's because of the efforts that have gone into those 13 years of Toastmasters that have made me what I am today. Thank you, and over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you, Arvind, and thank you whoever spotlighted me, give me a chance to unmute myself. I will now request our guest speaker who came today, Dinesh Desai, to be spotlighted, please.
Yes,
Dinesh,
please.
are you ready for a topic?
I am.
Ta-dang, ta-dang, ta-dang.
Can you, by the way, I have taken out the speaker. Can you listen? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can listen to you loud and clear.
Beautiful.
You are
Beautiful.
clearly
Please,
visible
please
also.
go ahead.
Dinesh, this is a quote I saw on a wall somewhere, but it has stuck with me ever since I saw it. Dinesh Desai Everyone gets butterflies. The trick is to make them fly in formation. Everyone gets butterflies. The trick is to make them fly in formation, coming up on the chat window for you.
Beautiful. What a quote you have given. Everyone gets butterflies. Yes, even at this age, I do get, even I have practiced, still I do get. The trick is to make them fly in formation. Yeah. Making a formation itself is a unique thing. And that you can do only when you are well settled through your mind. As just now the Toastmaster Gita Kashyap said that the most important thing is to keep your mind cool. So perhaps this is the right tool that once you keep your mind cool, then the formation automatically starts taking place. It is something like curd that you make at your house. You cannot have a bucket of milk, put the curd and keep on fingering it every half an hour to see whether it has happened or not. You have to keep it for a longer time so that it gets formation. In the same way, if you are mentally stable, then yes, the chances of formation gets better. Plus, what I have experienced is it is something like settlement of water. In a bucket, if the water is there and the dust is there and a diamond is there, you can't see the diamond if the water is not at still. So when it's settled, it becomes easy to see. So yes, that is the formation. Formation plays an important role. It works, it can be developed, and do develop it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh. Very quickly, I'll move on to Unique Katnoria. I request that Unique Katnoria be spotlighted.
Yeah.
Open the quick time check, do.
We have 4 minutes to go, according to the agenda I checked.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So, unique topic coming up for you. Make sure your worst enemy does not live between your 2 ears. Make sure your worst enemy does not live between your 2 ears. Coming up on chat for you, Unique.
Yeah, quite an interesting take. Yeah, but I feel that if you ensure that your worst enemy is not living in between your 2 ears, you don't have actually you will not have any enemy in the real world also, because the thing is that we perceive things the way we think about it. So anything that we think is negative, or somebody or something is against us, it's just a perception of the thing that is within your ears, where we are referring to the brain or the mind. So if we ensure that it is not our worst enemy, so a better way to put it into perspective would be like getting out of our own way, what is called. So generally we think that there are other things stopping us from being or reaching where we want to go, but it is actually us ourselves which is stopping us. So for to take an example, if I want to give a speech and I'm nervous or anything, nervous, or I have a negative connotation attached to that action, I'll always struggle to do it in the best possible way I could. So if I just give a speech and not let my brain or my mind tell me that you should do it this way, or you are nervous or anything, that would be the best approach, because I'll just do it rather than listening to a negative way of thinking. So thinking is good, but overthinking is bad. And generally, the worst way our mind can betray us is overthinking. So in that sense, yes, it's always good that if our mind is our ally rather than an enemy. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Unique. And very quickly, I would want Anant Katyayni to be spotlighted so that I can give the last topic of the day. Anant Katyayni, topic for you. Anant Katyayni, never trust your fears. They don't know your strengths. Never trust your fears. They don't know your strengths. Anant Katyayni.
Rupinder, just want to check if I'm audible.
You are audible and visible.
And Rupinder, thank you so much for giving me this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just returned today from a 10-day meditation course. Maybe not as exhaustive as Dinesh presented today, but something that I was always afraid to go on. And it took me immense courage to overcome my fears, my worries, my insecurities, starting with the step that do I really need it? Do I really need meditation to calm myself? Does it really work? We are living in a non-spiritual, materialistic world. Where do we have time for that? It is for retired people, isn't it? No offense to Arvind over here. He's a good friend. But the point is, when I went there, I started doing meditation for 1 day, 2 days, and by the third day, 30% time gone. And the teacher, the Acharya, only taught us how to observe the breath. That's it. I was like, are you really joking? I spent the 3 days of my life just to observe how to breathe. I can do that at my home as well. Couldn't you have sent me a video? Trust me, guys. It was all about finding that inner strength to overcome my own demons, my own old regrets, mistakes, the lack of acceptance over my own deeds of the past, or maybe the feelings that I had while I was sitting in that very moment. It took me the next 7 days to realize that, to have that self-realization. And there I came upon this truth that our dear Rupinder has presented to us. Never let your fears dictate your life. Forget about them. You don't even know yourself, how much strength, inner strength you have. Give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? We'll come back to live in the same reality, isn't it? Over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you very much, Anant. And I have gone over time, so I will very quickly launch the best table topic speakers poll. Please vote for the best. And with that, I will spotlight our Toastmaster of the meeting, Chinmay. She can take the proceedings forward. Chinmay, you can continue.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupinder. That was a great table topic session. As I said before, the first step to overcoming your fear was forcing yourself to become willing to conquer it. So the second step is to question every single belief you have ever made in your life. Why would only your perspective be right? You should look at and analyze other people's perspectives too. Even writing down everything that comes to your mind helps this cause. By doing this, you will be surprised to know that the reality is so different and what you believed in your mind about that particular thing that you fear was quite irrational. The truth is, the beliefs that you make over time turn into habits. But please make sure to challenge all of those beliefs every once in a while. The third step would be to go and search for things that you feel are absolutely crazy scary. But at the same time, go and find people who are doing the same thing which you feel is crazy. And trust me, you will find people doing literally everything that you can think of. Now, regardless of what your fears say, stop all those thoughts inside of you and just believe in the people outside of you and go and try those things out. Now let us move forward to the evaluation section of the meeting. At Toastmasters, it is the evaluation section that provides feedback to all the role players and the meeting in general for ongoing improvement. And to head that section, let us welcome back the general evaluator for the evening, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Chinmay. Starting with the evaluation section, we have the speech evaluators for the evening. First, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Surjit to. All right, I think there's a technical glitch, and Rupinder will like to.
You continue.
Do the poll.
I'll do the
Sure.
polls. So we'll do the polls once you in the middle of.
All right. So I'd like to invite Toastmaster Surjit to read out the evaluation for the special speech by Toastmaster Dinesh. Over to you, Toastmaster Surjit.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Start from reading. That works. Toastmaster Dinesh, first of all, I congratulate you for completing your part. Your speech was a wonderful speech, or I can say it was a mini workshop where you taught us some wonderful breathing exercises. You asked questions from the audience and you answered those questions very well. PowerPoint presentation was a masterpiece from your part. So that PowerPoint presentation helped us to visualize the things very well. You taught us benefits of breathing exercise with PowerPoint. That was really awesome. And also disadvantages of the wrong breathing. Also showing the things like other devices was also awesome part of the speech. Now, few recommendations from my side. Your PowerPoint presentation was not on the full screen. So I noticed that it was half of the screen, so it was not looking professional. So in the next time, you can improve that by pressing F5. Also, it was on half screen, so everyone was guessing that what's going next in the slide. So we can improve that in our next speech. Also, I noticed that you asked questions, 2-3 questions from the audience. What you moved ahead without getting the answer from the audience. I was expecting that you were asking question from the audience and you expect the answer from the audience, but that was not happened there. So we can also engage the audience by asking the questions and getting the answer from the audience. Also, in one slide, you gave information about 86 billion neurons. But I noticed that you didn't mention the source of the information. So to look that information authentic, we can provide the source of the information. I also noticed that your background was not properly set up. That was giving some imperfection, so we can improve it. When you were teaching a breathing exercise, then there was vocal breathing, or I can say a soft tonality that was missing at that time. So we can also improve that. Overall speech was awesome. I congratulate you again for this wonderful speech. Body language like hand gestures and eye contact was wonderful. Confidence was awesome. Speech content was excellent and engaging. Audience was very much interested in your speech and your comfort level on stage was awesome. So good luck for your future. Hand over the stage back to our panel.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surjit. Next, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Rajesh to read out the evaluation for Toastmaster Shaurya. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Wow, wonderful speech, Shaurya. We are snowflake generations. We are less resilient and more prone to taking the offense than the previous generations. Your speech goes wonderful vocal varieties, and it was clear to everyone. The eye contact was really awesome, and it was clear to the audience. the speech objectives, whatever it was there, that like that you recorded the negative response in a personal journal and what to reframe them in a positive ways. In this speech, you have given 3 different examples, and all these examples are really heart touch. And it was so many humorous speeches are there. So one thing I noticed that though it is a humorous speech, people are enjoying, but I wanted you to pause in between so that audience are laughing, and so maybe you can give some few pauses to complete it. And one more thing I noticed that once you have mentioned that according to Collins English Dictionary, the snow generation, the definitions you mentioned, that if you go more detail on the Collins, what is this Collins English Dictionary, then it would be more useful. Both the beginning, middle part, and end all are really awesome. You started with the snowflake generations and end with the stop trying to men of calm down and the best yet to comes. The message to the audience was really clear, and it is, and a lot of things it comes to the pictures. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Rajesh. Now I'd like to request distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder to launch the poll for the best table topic speaker, which has to be redone because of a technical glitch. All right, in the interim, or rather, I think I'll have to wait for the poll to be closed. Now in the next section, I'll share my evaluation of all the table topic speakers. First of all, wonderful topic shared by you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. I think each topic was a lesson in itself. I think all the table topic speakers did a fantastic job of narrating their personal stories or their thoughts and opinions around each of the topic. I'll share one recommendation and one commendation for each of the speakers. Munish, holding a grudge only makes you bitter, not stronger. Loved your confidence to begin with. It felt as if you are delivering a prepared speech. Kudos there. Great vocal variety. What you can focus on is on stage movement. I saw you standing static and delivering. To challenge yourself, you can focus on your stage movement. Shreyas, the robbed that smile steals something from thief. Wonderful part was you quoted the life story around football, and there were emphasis on the key aspects, which really came out in the vocal variety aspect. Your starting was a bit hesitant. You started by saying that this will be something difficult. You waited for a while to come up with a story. What I'll suggest to you is that you keep a framework handy, like an Oreo kind of approach, which is quite popular within Toastmaster, to begin right away. Amit, speak in anger and you will give a speech you will forever regret. Loved your energy level. It was high to begin with. Then you proceeded with a conversational tone. It was as if I'm sitting over a chai and talking to you, which was quite wonderful. It's quite your strength. What I'll suggest to you is that you focus on your body language. I think your hand was going back and forth, back and forth. You might want to do a variety in your body language. Divya, fear is what you feel, courage is what you do. I think you're quite comfortable with the camera and you had a very ease in terms of presenting your thoughts around the topic. Unfortunately, your audio was not clear. It's on both the table topic master side and your side for us to check that your audio is clear. So I could only hear in bits and pieces. So only recommendation is that you look at your technical aspects and keep it sorted. Gita raises a choice, not a reaction. I could feel like it when you're delivering a speech, it felt as if you could feel what you are speaking with conviction and you're feeling what you want to share. And I think that made it quite relatable and believable. So in table topics, at times folks bluff, but here we could see that it is coming from your own conviction. But eye contact with the camera is really good. What my suggestion to you to challenge yourself will be to add pauses to bring more emphasis on the key points you want to share. It was without much pause. Pauses can definitely add emphasis. Arvind, everyone wants to be a champion. Few train like one. A very inspirational topic to begin with, and you added to the inspiration by sharing your personal story of your champion story at Toastmasters, which was quite apt, and it's a wonderful way to go about sharing a table topic. My suggestion will be to also experiment with more vocal variety. We're adding energy and emphasis on the key ideas, which help the audience relate better. And we had an exhaustive table topic section. We are still left with 3 more speakers. Dinesh, everyone gets butterflies. The trick is to make them fly in formation. I think after your prepared speech, this was another fantastic attempt by you on a tricky topic. I think you had a simplicity and grace to how you are going about sharing your experiences around the topic. My only suggestion will be to think about a structure for your topic where you already have a framework on how you go about sharing your experience, because that'll add the strength to your table topic. Unique, make sure your worst enemy doesn't live between your 2 ears. As always, quite comfortable with the camera. You were quite direct in sharing your opinion and quite relatable. Suggestion will be you focus on your body language. I think you started with your hands back of the head, which is like a traditional way to start. But my suggestion will be that you experiment with your body language to make it more authoritative and empathetic with the audience. Last but not least, distinguished Toastmaster Anand, never let your fears dictate your life. I think your session really showed in your vocal variety, where I found you to be much more calmer and at ease and at peace with how you're narrating the very apt story of your recent meditation session experience. I loved hearing that. If you want to challenge yourself, you might want to see how you want to. I don't know if this newfound vocal variety is for the long term, but you might want to just see how you want to add this into your future speeches. Thank you. Now I'd like to move forward with the next section within evaluation aspect, which is inviting my wonderful tag team to share their reports. First of all, I'd like to invite our grammarian for the evening, Toastmaster Nikita, to share the grammarian report. Over to you, Toastmaster Nikita.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I'm glad to say there were the word of the day was used twice today, once by Shreyash and once by Arvind. And there were some really good usages also, starting with our first speaker, Dinesh, who used imitating love, which means spreading a lot of love, and some good figure of speeches like poison and junk to home. Then there was some very good usages by Shaurya, like politically correct, which means to carefully speak something to not offend any group which has certain kind of advantage. And then he used woke, which means to being alert to injustice in society. Some other word usages, some other figure of speeches like soaked the idea, stomped the heart, served the revenge cold, and some other words used by Shaurya were inconsequential, which means not important, and saturated, which means holding as much as can be observed. There were some other good usages by Shreyash, like silent protest, and some other usages by Amit, like enriching, promising, trajectory, infuriated, fragile, and last, immaculate by Arvind. There were some usages which can be worked upon by, for example, someone said having body ache, which they could have said, I have body ache. The, next is what time you take in the toilet, which can be used as how long you were in the toilet. Another was carbon dioxide brought out, which could be used as exhale it out. There was another like which tells that, which can be used as a which says that. Overall, this is my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Nikita. Next, I'd like to invite distinguished Toastmaster Anant to share his counter report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I would like to share my screen and would like to highlight a few misconceptions that we had before we came to this meeting, including myself. I had this myth in my mind that it is ahs and ums which are the most frequent fluency breakers. It is not. If you closely look at a section called repetitions, it is a repetition, the tendency to correct ourselves in the middle of a sentence or catching on to a slightly better idea. That's what causes our fluency. So please be careful when you come across that situation the next time. As I speak, I hope you are also looking at your own individual progress. I want to highlight a couple of speakers who have improved significantly since the last few stage times. Evaluators Surjit and Rajesh, you have thoroughly impressed us with your improvements. Speaker Dinesh and Shaurya, both of you gave me a really hard time because you were so much prepared and under control that I couldn't really catch much in your stage movements. I have to apologize to Rupinder during his surgery at arms. I was being troubled by a smiling Taliban in my lap, so I couldn't make much notes. Chinmay was really prepared throughout today. If you can see the color coding, Anshuman has an over tendency, hence highlighted his remarks in slight reddish tint. The tendency to have a tail of a after an and, the, a quiet, and saying it like and that elongates his thought process, but kind of breaks his fluency. I'm sure all of you can see this report. I'll share it in the club group soon as well. I'm using what I recommended to Anshuman myself, so apologies for that as well. But I hope this report you found something useful, something wholesome to carry along with yourself. And let us improve on this one speech at a time, one speech opportunity at a time. All the very best to all of you. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Anshuman, over to you. In his absence, I will hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day, Chinmay.
You can ask the timer to take over.
Next, yes, I am taking it over. I am presenting my report. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll start from the role plays. Our first role player was Sergeant at Arms. The appointed time was 2 to 4 limits. He went little ahead over time. PO had time till 5 to speak till 5 minutes. He was in between. The Toastmaster of the day, was going according to the agenda and exactly on time with 10 minutes and 58 seconds for the entire meeting. Till now, topic master went quite ahead over time and it took 33 minutes and 41 seconds. Allotted time was 18 minutes to 22 minutes. MOT awareness was allotted 2 to 4 minutes. The time taken was 4 minutes and 23 seconds. General evaluator is evaluating quite deeply, taking a lot of time at each stage. The total time is 15.23 seconds overall. Speaker 1 was in time and took exactly 20 minutes. Speaker 2, Shaurya, was in time. He took 7 minutes, 18 seconds. Moving on to the table topics. Speaker 1 was Deanna. She was in time, 1 minute, 31 seconds. Munish, he took 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Shreyash took 1 minute, 51 seconds. Amit took 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Then we had Divya. She took 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Divya, it was great hearing you. Even you went ahead time. Gita took 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Arvind took 1 minute, 52 seconds. Dinesh took 2 minutes, 2 seconds. And Anant took 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Anant, it is good to see you back after long. So in table topics, we had 2 disqualifications. Then evaluation, evaluator 1, Surjit took 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Evaluator 2, Rajesh took 1 minute, 45 seconds. The allotted time is 2 to 3 minutes. I am not sure if he's qualifying or not.
He is qualified. He is qualified.
All right, thank you. Then the tag player Nikita took 1 minute, 51 seconds. And Anand took 2 minutes, 14 seconds. The timer took, I think, 2 minutes. I'm not sure, I did not time myself. With this, I hand over back to the general evaluator.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Arunima. I'll quickly present my report for the meeting today. So as a Sergeant at Arms, the meeting started on time. The room was set up properly. And in the interim, we like to, I think, do the polls for the best auxiliary role player. And after that, the best evaluator also. So request you to vote in parallel while I'm narrating my report for the evening. So the meeting started on time. The Zoom meeting was opened up on time. Guests were warmly greeted. Club mission statement was properly read. And the presiding officer was properly introduced. Amazing work. Our substitute Sergeant at Arms, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder, you did that at the last moment. Kudos. The tech master had a rough day today. I think there were 3 folks playing that role, and I could see the spotlighting struggling for the day today. My suggestion will be to sort out the spotlighting issue beforehand so that it's not a concern. Except that muting and starting meeting recording on time, muting, unmuting the audience went quite well. The presiding officer, which is me, I'll let others evaluate me later. And I'll move on to the star of the evening today, which is the Toastmaster day. I think she did a fantastic job of preparing for the hosting duties today, where she chose the theme, an intriguing theme, which made us all self-reflect on the aspect of fear. She gave wonderful insights on how one can think about the topic of fear. She explained the meeting structure properly, displayed quite a decent level of energy, and introduced speakers, role players properly throughout. My suggestion to her will be to experiment more with her vocal variety, adding emphasis and energy to where she wants the audience to focus more on a particular topic. So that's something, but as a first attempt, this is way too good, where almost everything was seamless. So great work, Toastmaster Chinmay. Table topic master, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. very intriguing topics, as I shared beforehand, made us all think. And I could see you were very passionate about including all the guests, all the non-role-playing Toastmaster members today. So much so that we went almost 2 minutes above time. But yes, I think that's okay. But still, they were appropriate and simple. The topics were appropriate to both the guests and the Toastmaster, very easily understandable. You generously invited guests to participate, and preference was given to audience members who did not get a chance to speak. So kudos there. Table topic speakers, I think I already went through individual analysis of it. But yeah, thank you all for coming today and speaking enthusiastically about all the topics. Speech evaluators, I think always, both the speech evaluators, Toastmaster Surjit and Toastmaster Rajesh, followed the CRC approach, were aware of the project details, read the speech objectives properly, were encouraging to the speakers, which is very important, and left quite a few challenges for the speakers to explore in the next speeches. So overall, great job to both Toastmaster Surjit and Toastmaster Rajesh. The timer for the evening, again, there was a bit of technical glitch there, but like overall, I think still it was managed quite well within all the constraints, where the timings were read, and it was a very exhaustive report that was shared about each of the individual details. My suggestion there will be that for the role players, if it can be added that how much time that role player should have taken and how much time did he or she take, that can give a good idea than just suggesting that this role player took a lot of time. That is a very generic statement. If, for example, the team mod has to take 20 minutes and she took 21 minutes, that can be stated in such a manner. As for the R counter, again, fantastic job by distinguished Toastmaster Anant. What was good about his report was, besides adding up the individual filler word counts, he also gave insights around that in the comment section, where one could learn from those counting. So that was a great job done. The grammarian did a very good job of just counting out the word of the day, properly explaining it in the chat section and sharing it beforehand to everyone. And all the right suggestions were shared. Overall, the meeting went quite well. The chat room was quiet during speech, or no one unmuted unnecessarily, and there were no backouts from the side roles. That matters a lot. That was from my end. Over to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. I hope that one day we learn to draw the distinguishing line between rational and irrational fears. To achieve that, let us make it a habit to note down our fears and to overcome one new fear at least every month, because it's the best way to realize your true potential. My personal goal is to make my mom overcome her fear of driving a car. You can even start with something simple, like making a new friend, becoming more expressive, or even dancing outside your home. Always remember, if you try to run away from your fears, they will still come back in some other form in your life. So why not overcome it right now? Thank you. It was a pleasure being your Toastmaster of the day, and I would like to hand over the stage to Presiding Officer of the evening, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Chinmay. I think I'm getting a lot of chance to practice my public speaking skills today, and I hope you aren't already too bored of listening to me. But yes, in the interim, please do vote for the best role player between Toastmaster of the Day, Table Topic Master, and General Evaluator. In the interim, I'll also like to take the feedback from our beloved guests for the evening. I'd like to start from you, Toastmaster Arvind. How did you feel about the evening today?
Thank you, Anshuman. It was a pleasure to attend the meeting today. And yes, though I was there ready with my red pen to see where I could contribute to your betterment, but I must say it is only in the blue ink that I could write. There wasn't any red ink that I could write and mention certain things to you. There are just two things that I would like to say. When the Toastmaster of the day asks for the evaluator to come in, so his evaluator, I will call upon his evaluator. Actually, it cannot be the speaker's evaluator, it's the speech evaluator. So the Toastmaster of the day would benefit by saying, I now invite so-and-so, the speech evaluator for the first speaker, rather than saying for the first his evaluator, which is wrong. We don't evaluate a person, we evaluate the speech. There was somebody who said today evening, the better English would be this evening. Those are two things that I just noticed, but I think the meeting was wonderful. And every time I come here, Rupinder puts me on the mat. Thank you very much. It gives me another chance to speak and better myself. Learning never stops. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Arvind. Feedback well taken, and it will help me and all of us improve. Next, I'd like to ask Toastmaster Munish of his experience. Over to you.
It's an incredible meeting. I really enjoyed. Whenever I attend Toastmaster meeting with you, I get an opportunity to learn something new. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster, please.
Thank you, Munish. Divya, how was your experience of the meeting?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I've been waiting for the Toastmasters meeting from a very long time. So after a very long time, I spoke today because I was missing it. So it felt good. And thank you for the Turning Toastmasters Club for sending the email to me so that I can join the meeting. And throughout the session, I enjoyed the theme, the table topic master, and it was a wonderful experience.
Wow, that's so good to hear, Divya, and we'll love to have you in our meetings regularly. If required, please, like our VP membership will reach out to you just in case you want to take this forward. Deanna, how was your experience for the evening? And meanwhile, I request distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder to share the poll results after this. From your elated reaction, I can see, Diana, you love the meeting. We'll love to have your thoughts on the chat if you want to share. Last but not the least, Toastmaster Amit, how was your experience? Amit, are you there? All right. I think Amit is not available. I think we can move on to the poll results. I'd like to hand over stage to distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder.
Just 1 second. One result is wrong. I'm just setting it right.
All right.
Thank you. You're most welcome, Diana.
Surjit, I'm not counting you as a guest, but if you'd like to share any feedback for us, please take good time. You're on mute, Surjit.
Actually, I am on 2 devices, so I unmuted the second one. So it was always a wonderful experience to attend the meeting on Thursday in the turning point. So I always learn many things from this meeting. Today I learned one thing from the Arvind sir. He gave the feedback that what mistake we were doing when we call the evaluators. So thank you, Arvind sir, and thank you all the members of the Turning Point. Thank you.
Thanks, Surjit. Rupinder, other polls. Sure. Over to you.
All right, so we've had a total, we have quite a few certificates here today, and that requires me to first take Surjit of Spotlight and share my screen. So we will start off with a standing ovation certificate, and this is the wrong one, but a standing ovation for our Toastmaster of the evening, Chinmay. Let's give her a huge round of applause. Chinmay, you will receive your certificate very soon, I promise you that. A special mention to Divya Thakur. I will explain later as to why she's getting a special mention. Let's look at our top 3 table topic speaker. At number 3, we had Amit, because of whom the poll was launched, because his name was not there in the original poll. So that is the difference that not having a name can make. Many congratulations to you, Amit. Let's have a round of applause for him. Our second best table topic speaker today, coming back after a break. Many congratulations, Shreyash. Great topic there. And the best table topic speaker for today is Deanna McInroy. Many congratulations. Now, this would have been, this actually would have been Divya, Deanna, and Shreyash, but Divya got disqualified in time. You're most welcome, Deanna. Divya got disqualified on time. We decided to give her a special mention. Now let's move on to the others. You're most welcome there. So the best auxiliary role player, the butler takes it again. Nikita Jalan, many congratulations. Best speech evaluator for his excellent evaluation today, Surjit Lakhnotra, many congratulations. The best role player today, well, I think we are making a tradition of having first time Toastmasters of the meeting. Last week, Priyambada took it, and this week it is again Chinmay Dharmadhikari, who's taking the best role player for her wonderful role as Toastmaster of the meeting. And the best speaker, by the thinnest of margins, if I may say so, is Shaurya Chauhan. Many congratulations. And now I have to make a few corrections and I will email the certificates. Thank you very much for being such a patient audience. I will stop sharing the screen, and at this point I will like to ask Anshuman if there is anything that needs to be shared, and otherwise I will stop the recording.
No, thanks a lot, Rupinder. I'll request everyone to fill the MOT form whenever Toastmaster Unique shares with us, because your feedback is very valuable. That is it. Thank you everyone for joining. Amazing meeting as always. And we can stop the recording. Thank you.